All right, y'all. So I'm 22 years old, and it feels like just yesterday I was in high school. I graduated at 17. Now I'm 22, and I'm basically starting my life over again. I made some poor decisions in my past. It's mainly been kind of like financially. I financed a car a couple months, or not a couple months ago, a couple years ago, because at the time it was the right decision. But after a while, I just had some stuff happen unexpectedly, right? That's life. um my income was kind of just like bumpy. I wasn't making the same amount of money that I was making when I first got the car, and so it kind of just it just messed me up, right? And so I just realized over time, like, just financing a car is one of the dumbest things you could do. Don't do it. Like, this is things that I didn't learn growing up. Right now I'm reading a lot of books on money, how to manage your money, what to do with your money, right? Where to put your money, different things like that. One of the books I'm reading is I Will Teach You How to Be Rich. A lot of people might know that book. I also have The Psychology of Money, right? So it's like, it's important to educate yourself on how to manage your money, right? Because a lot of times we don't learn this stuff in school. um and sometimes we don't have like the guidance, we don't have the right role models or the people around us to teach us. So that's another thing too. But I'm just glad that I became aware of this at such a young age, um, especially now, because a lot of times you always hear like, "Oh, you're young, you still have a lot of time," and I think like a lot of times, bro, if you keep telling yourself that, like, you're gonna end up being 30, 35, 40, and like you're gonna look back and be like, "What the hell did I just do with the last 5, 10, 15 years of my life?" Right? Um, because everyone has different priorities. Personally, me, man, like, I want to travel, I want to see the world. I want to live in different countries. I want to. What I prioritize is just genuine experiences. Genuine relationships, meeting new people, trying new things. I want to live a life with meaning and purpose. And a lot of people might not want that. There's a lot of young people my age who have car payments and they have these nice expensive cars, right? But that's going to hold them back. They're not going to be able to travel, and they're not going to be able to do the things that I want to do. They're going to have to stay in their hometown their whole life, right? They're going to have to stay uh, just put right there. And some people might want that. Personally, me, I don't want that, because I need to continue to evolve in my life. I need to continue to grow at all times. I cannot stay stagnant. That's the one thing that pisses me off the most. Like, the fact that I still live in my whole hometown at 22 is something that just frustrates me. In the past, I mean, I've had like a medical sales job, so I was traveling, so I was working like LA and different things like that, San Francisco, San Diego. Those were cool. It's nice jobs, right? You get out of your hometown kind of like temporarily, but man, I want to do more. Like, I want to get out the country. I mean, I just went to Japan recently, and Japan is what really opened up my mind. That's what really opened up my perspective. I'm like, bro, this is what life is all about. Like, just traveling. I traveled solo, I traveled by myself, and I remember the feeling, how I like adapted to it so well, and how I met other solo travelers, and how easy it was for me to just connect with people. And it made me realize, like, bro, this is the life that I want. This is the life that I need. I need to figure out a way to make money passively in order for me to be able to travel, right? um Instead of being like most people, where they live in one specific location, and that's because they have a car payment, and that's because they're tied down. They might have to pay, you know you have rent, you have a car payment, you have, sometimes people have kids at young ages, right? So it's like there's a lot of things kind of holding them down, right? There's a lot of things tying them down, um to having to be in that one specific location. I don't want that, y'all. I just don't want that. That's not me. that's just it's personally not me. I just feel like I'm genuinely meant for more. Um, but yeah, just losing everything, man. At 22, it's been tough, but it's needed. I mean, it's needed. I have to go through it, you know. Um, but it is what it is, y'all. I'll figure it out. The goal for me is just to work for myself, figure out something myself, live the life that I want to live. Because at the end of the day, bro, it's like working a lot of jobs, bro. A lot of jobs, they don't care about you. People don't care about you as much as you think they do. you know um a lot of people gatekeep too. A lot of people will gatekeep a lot of information. There's a lot of older folks that I'll ask advice for, and I could tell, like, they're gatekeeping me, they're gatekeeping information. you know a lot of times it could stem from insecurities, right? Because maybe they could see that you have a lot of potential, and that when they were young, right, they also felt the same way, but then they fucked up. They made some poor decisions. So they want you, they want to keep that information like a secret. That's unfortunately the reality. I kind of noticed this when I was working certain jobs, but you know, I would ask for advice and people wouldn't be willing to help me out. I would just be asking for advice, like, hey man, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? How'd you get to the top? And sometimes they didn't want to help and they didn't want to give me an answer, or they just gave me a bullshit answer. And you could just sense it, right? You could just sense it. But a lot of the older generations will sometimes try to gatekeep information from the younger generation. So that's an unfortunate thing too, man. But just gotta keep on trying, gotta keep asking, man. You gotta be a sponge. But I'm gonna figure this out, y'all. I just wanted to post this because this is raw, this is real, this is what I'm going through right now. Just starting over, starting from scratch. But um, it's necessary for me to go through this in order to get to where I want to get and to live the life that I want to live. Because, like I said, man, I don't want to be in my 30s and 40s and still living in my hometown, still being complacent, working a job that doesn't move me forward, that doesn't help me in any type of way, shape, or form. I do not want that. I just can't have that happen. That to me is like, that's just failure, at least to me, you know. Some people want that, right? Some people are okay with that. Everybody's different, but man, like, life is just short, bro. Life is short. Gotta live your life. Um, I'd rather be able to do everything that I ever wanted to do in life, man. Travel, you know, do just what I want to do, live my life to the fullest, and live like a short life than to live like a long life, right? And I've just been stagnant, just didn't grow, stayed in the same place my whole life, right? I don't want a life like that. I don't want a life like that, you know. So um, yeah, it's crazy, y'all. If this video seems like it's all over the place, I apologize. It's because it is, because my mind's kind of just like, that's my current state of mind. It's just everywhere. I'm just trying to figure out everything myself, and yeah, trying to figure this thing out, man. Right now I know in America it's like kind of like the economy's in a tough position. A lot of people are struggling. I hear like a lot of younger people, Gen Z, my generation, I hear a lot of them are struggling too. And you know, a lot of people look at that and they use that as an excuse um, to make themselves kind of feel better, like, oh, this is why I'm struggling. Or personally, me, I'm very hard on myself. I'm just like, man, I have to figure this out. You know, a lot of people might be struggling right now in life, but I still have to figure it out, and I'm going to figure out some type of way. Like, there's got to be a way. I always believe that there's a way no matter what. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say, I guess. And so it's cool to record these types of videos because basically talking to my future self. My future self is gonna be able to look at this in 5 years from now, maybe a couple months from now, right? 6 months, a year, 2, 3 years, and I'll be able to see like, okay, how much did I grow? How far did I go? Did I fail? You know? So I think that's another cool thing about it, right? But yeah, it's basically all I have to say, y'all.